Heyo, and welcome back to my channel. No, that's boring. Wanna watch me be athletic? This is the extent of my flexibility. Heyo, and welcome back to my channel. Oh, no. I need help. Okay. 'Twas the day after Christmas, and we were all sad and bored, so you can watch this and be slightly less bored. Yeah, I knew better than to dream of a white Christmas. See, where I live, we have this thing called the sun. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but yeah. I don't really know what I'm doing today, but I just needed to do something. So we're going to do a Q&A because that doesn't take any brain power. Some days you just want to be a marshmallow. Here we go. This is 200 deep questions to ask if you really want to get to know someone, because obviously you really want to get to know me. Why is this still plugged in? I don't need a charger cord. You can survive, right? I believe in you. These deep questions are the perfect questions to get to know someone. If you meet someone you feel an immediate connection with, yes, with me, you ask them these deep questions to get to know them on an intimate level as quickly as possible. Guys, we're going to get to know you on an intimate level. What's your philosophy in life? God. What's the one thing you would like to change about yourself? Ooh. Man, I thought this was going to be brainless. Why did I have to go with deep questions? The one thing I would like to change about myself. I don't know. Are you religious or spiritual? Yes, I am one of those. Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert? I consider myself an introvert. I'm becoming a more... See, introvert doesn't mean you're an awkward, antisocial person. I mean, not to say I'm not, but it just means like being around people drains you and you need alone time. So I am an introvert. I'm just becoming a lot more of an outgoing introvert where, like, I like spending time with people. It's just I still then need recharge time to myself. Which parent are you closer to and why? I think I'm closer to my dad because he was the one that initiated, like, intentionally spending time with each of us because we did, like, see mom all day, every day. And so he would, like, take each of us out. Like, once a weekend, one of us kids would get to go on a daddy date with him. And so he, like, intentionally spent time with us one-on-one, whereas mom was usually just, like, there with all of us, but that didn't really count that much towards developing a close relationship. And also, like, dad and I have very similar temperaments, so I understand him a lot better and can relate to him a lot more. So I think, yeah, I'd say I'm closer to him. What was the best phase in your life from March till I started working? November. I don't know. That was a really, really, really good phase in my life, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, yes, there was a lot of hard, but also, like, God did so much in my heart and deepened so many of my relationships, and it was just crazy. Like, I changed so much, and I'm really, really grateful. What was the worst phase in your life? The worst phase in my life was when I was 20, well, not for much longer. Wait, so I would have been 13 or 14? Yeah, that was the worst phase in my life. Just because I had a lot of, like, insecurities, was dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and then I was just really, really hurt by losing my best friend. That was really hurtful time, and it was really hard processing through that and, like, letting go of that. Is what you're doing now what you always wanted to do growing up? Yes, I always wanted to be a famous person on the internet with cat videos. What I'm doing right now, answering random questions, that's what I always wanted to do when I grew up. I have 3 career options before me right now. 1, I could become a really famous YouTuber because of my cat videos and have millions of subscribers and become rich and famous that way. Or 2, I could become a Christian music artist, more famous than Chris Tomlin and with worse grammar than him. And yeah, I don't know, like, become a billionaire and spend it all on coffee. Or 3, my cat Matthew has a plan to become rich and famous for me. His plan's actually kind of viable. But he's going to be a millionaire and build a really cool house, and he said that he would build me a witch hut in his backyard so I could be his, like, pet hobo witch. Honestly, that option's the one that looks the most pleasing to me right now. Most fitting with my character, but, you know, we'll see. What makes you feel accomplished? Being productive. Just being productive. Accomplishing stuff makes you feel accomplished. What's your favorite book movie of all time, and why did it speak to you so much? The Bible, because God's speaking to me. His words mean more than anybody else's. But other than that, I would say Starflower by Anne Elizabeth Stengel, because I don't know, I really related a lot with the main character, like loving your enemies, like seeing even the worst person and seeing them the way that God sees them and loving them, like completely unashamedly. And I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to be able to look anyone in the eyes and love them, and because I want to be able to see them the way that God sees them, and I want to tell them that, and I want them to know that. That spoke to me a lot because she was able to look at this evil demon trying to kill her and see something to love. What is a relationship deal breaker for you? I don't know, so I'm just going to say not being a Christian. I think it's a temptation for girls to be like, oh, it's okay, like, I'll fix him. Like, will be the one to love him and fix his whole entire life and, like, bring him to Jesus and everything. But honestly, I don't want that pressure, and I don't think that's my place. And the Bible says not to be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. And so I honestly wouldn't get into a relationship with someone who's not already a Christian and mature in their faith. And I would want them to be at least as mature as me. Hopefully more, or at least that I would see a lot of evidence that they're going to become more mature than me pretty soon. Are you more into looks or brains? I wish I'd have both. Brains, because I'd want the person that I'm talking to like actually be able to make conversation with me. I feel like the relationship is better, like more important than what they look like, because what they look like is gonna change. So, but their brain, I mean, okay, their brain's probably gonna go downhill too. But I mean, yeah, I'd rather be able to relate and actually have a relationship with this person instead of just like enjoy looking at them, but never actually know how to talk to them. Would you ever take back someone who cheated? Depending on why, but I'm gonna say probably not. How do you feel about sharing your password with your partner? I would share my password with them because I would want them to be able to keep me accountable in everything, and I wouldn't, like, I think it would kind of be a bad sign if I didn't want them to have my password, because we're literally supposed to be like, the two shall become one flesh, so we're basically supposed to be like one person. And so if I feel like there's all this stuff that I want to hide from them, or just don't, I'm just like, it's my private stuff, like, I don't want you reading it, even if it's not anything that I'm necessarily ashamed of, me just wanting to be private with it. I wouldn't like it if they were, like, abusing that and, like, constantly reading everything that I said to anyone, or, like, looking up everything that I was. But I would definitely give them my passwords to everything. When do you think a person is ready for marriage? Oof. That's a hard question. When do you think a person will be ready for marriage? I need to drink on this. My New Year's resolution is to drink more chocolate spinach coffee water. So I'm getting a head start on that. Well, when you have a job, for one thing, you could support yourself. If you're a guy, you'd have to be able to support yourself and your wife. And you have a good career option before you. Man, I don't know, you just need to be mature. Like, ask the people around you in your life if you think that you're mature. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect before you get married, because that's too much pressure, because you're never gonna be perfect. You're never gonna, like, be totally ready. It's kind of, I think it's kind of the thing you just go for and you learn as you go. But also, there are prerequisites of, like, I feel like a certain level of maturity and, like, a really strong relationship with God and finding everything you need in Him. I feel like the less you feel like you need another person to survive, the less wrapped up you are in the idea of, oh, I need someone else to complete me, or my life is not enough. I think the closer you are to being ready for marriage, the more you know how to rely on God first and foremost. What kind of parent do you think you will be? Oh, that's a sensitive topic. It would take effort to counteract this, because I usually just, like, go about on my own. I'm a pretty self-sufficient, independent kind of person, and I take care of myself and kind of expect everyone else to do that too, to some extent. And so it would take a lot of intentionality on my part to kind of change that way of thinking towards my kids and take a lot of initiative with them and in developing a relationship with them, and not just kind of letting them float through life by themselves and assuming that they're fine as long as I'm feeding them. But I would want to, like, really have a really good relationship with all of them. And so I think my natural tendency would be to just leave them to their own devices. But I don't want that to happen. So I think I will try at least to be a very involved parent and spend a lot of intentional time with each of them. What would you do if your parents didn't like your partner? I would listen very, very, very carefully to everything that they said about, against him. I would ask other people outside of my family for advice also. I would appreciate them being candid and talking to me about it and explaining what they didn't like. And then I would take all of that and I would pray really hard about that. Do you usually stay friends with your exes? I don't have any exes. So, but I think I would, honestly. I think I would stay friends with them. Have you ever lost someone close to you? I have never lost someone close to me, but I have definitely lost people and realized that I miss them more than I thought I did, or that I took them for granted more than I should have. If you are in a bad mood, do you prefer to be left alone or have someone to cheer you up? It depends. I think some of both. I think I would want to be left alone for a little bit to at least talk to God about it, even if I'm not being okay, God, I'm not going to talk to anybody else until you completely take away this bad mood, because I think he does use other people. And so, I would want to be alone for a while, talk to him about it, and then I would want another person. Definitely. I like other people. What do you think of best friends of the opposite sex? I would say be very clear about the nature of your relationship, because that's definitely a big setup for heartbreak. But yeah, I would say talk about it with them, but also I don't think there's anything wrong with being best friends, unless you're married and then you need to be best friends with your husband, or if you're a boy with your wife, and then I would say don't. You can't have best friends of the opposite sex anymore. Do you judge a book by its cover? Yes. Are you confrontational? No. I'm getting a little bit more with people that I really trust and think will understand, but it's still really hard, and it's not my first instinct. I'm not a confrontational person. When was the last time you broke someone's heart? I don't know. That's depressing. I don't think I've ever broken anybody's heart. Would you relocate for love? Yes. Did you ever write a journal? I did. A little bit. What are you most thankful for? I've had this question before. God. Do you believe in second chances? Yes, I do believe in second chances. What's the one thing that people always misunderstand about you? That I need space, maybe. I don't know. What did your past relationship teach you? There's assuming I've had one, and only one past relationship. What are your thoughts on online dating or Tinder? I've heard some stories of, that it worked out and was good, but in general, I don't think that, no. What's on your bucket list this year? Ooh, I'm glad you asked. Oh, there's not much left of this year. I'm going to say, okay, for 2021, my bucket list is I've wanted to be someone's carry-on the airport and see if they'd let me on the plane, because there's no weight limit on the carry-on. It's only the checked luggage that can only be that has to be 50 pounds max. So as long as they can carry me, I don't know if I could fit in the overhead luggage space. That might be a requirement. I don't know. But yeah, I want to do that. I've wanted to run up to someone in a public place, tag them, say you're it, run away, and see what happens. I've also wanted to yell Marco and see if anyone says Polo. And I've also wanted to go to a restaurant and order a diet water and see how they respond. When have you felt your biggest adrenaline rush? When I thought that I was being attacked by a murderous hobo. What is the craziest thing you've ever done, and would you do it again? Probably, I don't know what it is, but I would do it again. If a genie granted you 3 wishes right now, what would you wish for? I don't know, see, because I don't know what I would wish for, because I don't want God's will to be done, and if I'm asking for stuff and making it happen that he didn't want to happen, I'm ultimately wrecking stuff for me, even if I think it was a good thing. So I don't know. But what would I wish for? If that wasn't in there, okay, I would wish for a really cool mansion house, because I would never actually have the money to build it, so I would wish for it to exist. It would be gigantic and really cool. So I'd wish for that, and then I would also wish for Whoa, I just accidentally learned how to zoom. I would wish for being able to, like, live with my best friends. And I would wish for, like, a really fulfilling ministry career. Like, somehow it would minister to people, but also, like, really make me feel like I'm doing what God put me on earth to do. What do you think about when you're by yourself? Oh, it varies so much. Does your job make you happy? My job did not make me happy. It didn't necessarily not make me happy. It was just, okay, it didn't make me happy when they forced mandatory overtime on me and I had to work 10 hours every day. I didn't like that. They didn't tell me that when I signed up for the job. It wasn't terrible. I liked parts of it. I liked having so much thinking time. Why did your last relationship end? It never existed. What qualities do you admire about your parents? I admire my mom's hospitality to people, just how willing she is to do that, and like how much she offers people, and how well she managed all of us kids. And with my dad, I really admire his humility. He has so much of that. He's so willing to like give other people the benefit of the doubt and really listen to them. What's the craziest thing you've ever done for love? Love someone. Loving people is crazy. Like, why do we do it? But it's good. Like, it's hard, but like it's good. But like if you think about it, it's like why do you love people? It's just hard. But yeah, it's worth it. Why do you think you're still single? On purpose. What is one dream you have yet to accomplish? Okay, one dream I have yet to accomplish is getting married. And then another dream would be like rehabilitating girls that have been through sex trafficking. What is your greatest fear? Like strangers that I assume are going to kill me because bad experiences in the past. I've been killed many times before. No. What are 3 things you value most about a person? I value most their maturity levels and how willing they are to talk about deep stuff. And I also really value their confidence in being themselves. Like, even if them being themselves isn't necessarily the kind of person that I would get along with, I really admire people who don't mind that and are still willing to be themselves, even if not everyone is going to appreciate that or really connect with that, but still choosing to be who God wants them to be. And I also really value people who know how to laugh at themselves. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? The Black Forest. What's the most exciting thing that's happened this past year? I got engaged. No. What's your... What's your favorite beer? How is this a deep question? What? Okay, I hate beer. I've never had it, but it's disgusting. I've had wines before and they're so gross. Who was your favorite teacher and why? My mom, because she was my only teacher. No, wait. Dad taught me and I taught myself. I liked my mom teaching me because when she taught me, like, school was easier back then. What is the weirdest thing about you? Everything. What would your best friend say is your best quality? Maybe, like, my listening abilities? Who is your favorite historical figure? Jesus. Stop turning off. What's wrong with you? If I could tell my former self one thing right now, what would it be? I would try to make her understand how loved she is. By God and by other people. What food could you not live without? Chicken. Or cauliflower. If you could get away with anything that you do? Question mark? Okay. Who is your greatest hero? God. But after that, Starflower from that book. What's the greatest risk you've ever taken? Probably saying yes to Jesus. Because that's a huge risk. Like, you lose yourself, you die to yourself, but, like, you lose everything. But then it's not actually that much of a risk because you get something so much better. Well, yeah, they're all repeat questions. Forget that. You've learned everything you need to know about me. I have bared my soul to you. You're welcome. I guess we'll never need to do another Q&A because you already know everything. And now I need to move on with my life. Thank you for watching. I hope you were inspired to go buy a fluffy white sweater or steal one from your sister if you have one. And be a marshmallow too. Goodbye until more interesting things happen. So long.